The next setting in our create mode for the Terrain Toolkit is Perlin, and this allows you to create a height map based on a Perlin noise calculation. Once again, we start off with a preset where we can choose between rough plains, rolling hills, rocky mountains, the hellish landscape.
Well,
and
if his rough plains...
I've got to see the hellish
yeah,
landscape.
I know.
So let's click and generate, and I gotta admit, that is one hellish landscape.
I think he got it right finally.
Yeah. That's dead on. So down from here, let's take a look at the other settings we have access to. We have frequency. This is literally the frequency of the noise. Now let me jump over to our terrain. I'm going to choose flatten height map and soften that down. Low frequency really just means a very gentle noise. The higher your frequency, and you can see the result there. So again, it's one of those things that you're just going to fine tune and find the one that's right for you. Amplitude is how high up and down that noise is going to tend to go. So lowering this will start to lower all of your features. And you'll notice as I pull it down lower and lower, our overall terrain gets lower and lower. Octaves are the number of calculations that take place in the terrain. Generally, the more octaves you have, the more detailed your noise is going to be in a Perlin calculation. So if we set this down to 1, we get a really simple calculation. If I crank it all the way up to 12, we get a highly detailed... Oh, actually, we just threw an out-of-memory exception. So let's see if I can pull this down. There we go. So we can't actually run 12 octaves of Perlin noise on this machine with everything we've got going. And then finally, we have our blend, which we've seen before. This just controls how much of the overall noise calculation gets blended in to the existing terrain that we're looking at. So if we set this down to something like 0.1, we would only be using 10% of the noise calculation on the terrain. So just in case you've jumped directly to this video, a really good example would be to drop down some quick Voronoi features, then switch over to Perlin, pick whichever setting you like, even all the way back to like the hellish landscape, but we could pull that down to, say, oh, I don't know, 0.15, so we're only using 15% of that, and apply that over the top. So that's a quick look at the Perlin settings, which again, just add some Perlin noise to your terrain. That will wrap things up for this video. Thanks a lot.